Hey, what's up everybody? Bdf 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so I figured I'd get out the house because I've run out of a few things, nothing too serious, but I didn't want to live without them, so I'm going to get them locally. Lakers start at 4 o'clock. It's already like 1 something, so yeah, by the time I get out the house, I don't even have time to really spin around in circles good before the game starts, so it just kind of eats up the day, unfortunately, but you know, that's what it is, man. The Lakers on a road trip, they play early games, so it's a big game in Boston tonight. I'll be ready for all of that good stuff for those who care to watch me speak on that. So yeah, man, it's been a good morning. Did my exercise and everything, usual stuff. Did the Laker video just now, should be uploading. Man, I sat down thinking I was going to get my art in. That was what I had planned on, but to be honest with you, I looked in my fridge and like, nah, I'm not about to live without certain things. I'm not about to live without that. So let me just go down to the local Target and make that a little short trip. Maybe if I have enough time, I can do my art when I get back. Yeah, I had it all planned out and then just decided last minute. As soon as I was sitting down to do the art, I said, nah, I'm running out of stuff. Not gonna happen. So yeah, man, this is how it goes. I did some art yesterday and the day before, actually. I've been backing up playlists. I had 3 playlists to do art for, so I said I would do one a day, knowing that these short early Laker games were coming. I was like, you know, I'll do one yesterday with the early Laker game, and then I'll do one today. But that mission, of course, is a little derailed, but I got 2 of them out the way. Yesterday I did the K-list. What was it, 4:35, and good art, good session. I enjoyed the playlist itself. The day before that, it was 4:34 K-list, and that art was okay. I didn't love the art, but I enjoyed the music. That was the Mass Appeal mix that I told you guys I had worked on with a bunch of old school rappers who doing modern day music, doing their music today, and it was good. I enjoyed that one. And then what was it? I want to say it was probably Monday. I had no intention of making a playlist, but then found I had the music for it, so I worked on that and came up with a K-list 436, which I think is probably the best one of the 3. But the problem is, it's 2 hours long. Literally the longest playlist I've made in months and months and months. So that's why I was like, okay, if I'm gonna do that playlist today, that's gonna be the only thing I can do before the game. Like, I'm not gonna have any time to do anything else. And so my thinking was, you know, nah, that's not gonna work. I'd much rather go out right now and do what I gotta do, and then maybe work on that playlist either after the game, or if I have enough time, I'll do it right before the game. But I just decided that was not going to work today. So yeah, man, that playlist will be waiting for me, and we'll do that. And then music came out last night that is probably going to run me another playlist. So, you know, it's one of those situations where I've been in the house all week, not necessarily because I'm feeling bad and want to be away from people or nothing weird like that. Not at all. It's just that the stuff that I needed to do required me to be in the house. So that's another reason why I decided to get out today, because I went out and made the same trip, what was it, 2 days ago, but then been in the house ever since. So it's like, I just need to get some air, whether it's just for a minute or a big LA trip. So I'm probably gonna go out tomorrow and do the Hollywood Hill thing, even though I don't have much to purchase tomorrow, because I'm getting all of the stuff that I really need to get now. But it'll still be a good outing tomorrow to just kind of enjoy the fact that ain't no Laker game and nothing that would keep me in the house. So, and then Sunday we get back to the early Laker game thing. Plus we got Bible study, which is a whole nother story because the game starts at 4:30, same time Bible study starts. So, depending on when Bible study ends, will determine whether or not I'll have a halftime video available for everybody. While Bible study's on, I can still watch the game with the other phone. That's not going to be a problem to do both. But as far as me being able to commentate like I normally do for the halftime video, I may not be able to. Not on time anyway, so that's kind of sucks for me, but the Lord comes first, family comes first. And so yeah, that's what's up, man. There's a couple things I wanted to talk about therapy session wise, because I haven't had a chance to really talk on anything that's been going on in the world. I really haven't. I've been wanting to talk, I just ain't had the opportunity to, because I've been in the house, and I don't really make too many therapy sessions in the house. But this situation in Stockton was on my mind, and those who don't know, 4 children lost their lives at a 2-year-old's birthday party, gang-related situation. And it's a lot of talk about what's going on there. You had some people come out and talk. The guy who I guess they were targeting's dad came out and said something. I don't really know what was said there. I didn't check that content out, but I know he's speaking. And then there was someone on the other side of that circumstance who was in support of the shooting, speaking out, saying that they condone all of that. You didn't care about none of our kids, so we don't care none about yours. And there's some real ignorance going on coming out of that person's mouth. And then you heard some other people on that side saying, no, we don't condone that. There's some weirdo stuff. We don't condone that, even though we the ops. We do not condone that. And been hearing people on YouTube speaking and all that, but at the end of the day, these kids lost their lives, man. And I had some people speak on that I was listening to, talking about they think it's a psyop, could be a bigger deal going on there. And when you look at all the designated talking heads, your poetic flacos and different individuals who are known for speaking on things in the culture, but are not actually attached to the culture, you hear the position they're taking, which is gang members are the worst thing in the world, and you need to just eliminate all the people who are in gangs and all of this. And I'm just like, that's an agenda. I mean, I don't think too many people are going to disagree with when you see a story like this, but it's really a racist agenda, if I'm being honest with you guys. This has nothing to do with identifying who the worst of people are, and then from there, saying we need to clean up the streets. It's more about identifying a particular people and pushing an agenda to further vilify them, using the example of this and other occurrences as a means to do so. And it's something that we need to be very careful not to allow ourselves to buy into, because they are always looking to paint people out to be something horrible, and then painting other people out to be wonderful, who may be doing just as horrible, if not worse, things. So I just want to say that, I don't doubt that there's an agenda that would not be above creating a psyop like this for which to push that agenda. But if these same people gave any damn about children dying, then they wouldn't turn their attention to this situation. They would turn their attention to what's going on in Gaza and what's going on in Congo, instead of funding it like they are. And so I just want to tell people what I see there. When I listen to people like Poetic Flacco say, we need to get these child killers off the streets and this and that, and all these different things that he's coming out of his mouth saying in regards to the Stockton situation, which on its surface sounds reasonable, I would just issue the Flacco and say, okay, well, you keep that same energy with those individuals who are killing all these people in Gaza, because we've seen thousands of children die in Gaza, and we ain't heard a peep out of these same people who are paying you to say this, other than we need to support Israel and everything they're doing. If you care about them 4 little kids in Stockton, then turn your attention to what's going on in Palestine and open your damn mouth. Otherwise, you're just pushing an agenda that further supports the annihilation of people of color. It ain't got nothing to do with what took place in that situation. It has more to do with the people who are behind the people dying in Palestine, wanting to further support the annihilation of people of color, whether they're good people, bad people, or other. And I want to make that very clear. Gang members are not the root problem of these streets. Corruption and the deterioration of people of color and poverty being inflicted and different things that are being pressed upon people in these communities, like alcohol, gang violence that is often strummed up by people who have nothing to do with those gangs, people who are compromised as snitches meant to further divide in these streets. are a lot of what's going on there. That doesn't get any conversation because it doesn't fit the narrative of those same people that are trying to paint us out to be the worst people in the damn world. There is a conversation to be had for the accountability and responsibility of the people on this level to the actions that they engage in. But if you're going to attack the people on this level, do attack the reason why they are on this level and what ultimately came together to make them to be in this ignorant and desperate space. It ain't just them and the evil in their hearts. It's more so the inflicted corruption that is attacking their minds from different angles all at the same time. And you'd better know that. And if you're serious about cleaning up what's going on there, and you don't get on just the people outside, you get on the people who are inflicting the pain on the people outside, and you understand where the root of the real problem actually is. It's in those who are funding the weapons that ultimately find themselves in this community. It's those who are funding the drugs that ultimately find themselves in this community, and it ain't the people out here selling them or shooting the guns. Those are not the people who are the root of the problem. If you want to get to the root of the problem, you get to the corruption that's above the problem. And that's something that we fail to do because it doesn't fit the narrative of those who tell the story. They are, in fact, a good portion of that problem, which is why they're not telling them themselves in regards to what they've caused that would ultimately make it so that things are as they are on these levels. Gang members are not the root cause of the problems of the street. Corruption, poverty, and the deterioration of substance and mind. That is an investment on high by those who do not live in these communities. Is ultimately a good portion of what's wrong in these streets. You fix that, you fix the streets. Nobody wants to fix that. They do want to blame the people out in the streets who are victims of that. Victims of the ignorance and the poison that's been inflicted upon them communities generationally for years. We want to look at these kids after the aftermath of all this corruption and all these evil dreams for these communities and for these people being inflicted upon them. You want to look at those who are the leaves, so to speak, and blame them for what the roots have caused. No, thank you. No, thank you. I'm not going to go for that. Y'all been trying to deteriorate these people of color for generations. Throwing them in prison for years, separating families, and then want to look at the families being broken. Have you not had an agenda for the last 100 years to separate these people's families? Have you not been in deterring different things that will ultimately provide them some type of success and togetherness? You deterred a lot of those things. The 50s, the 60s, parties that were meant to promote peace and destroy corruption were infiltrated by individuals who meant worse for these people. Then from there, they vilified them and told everybody 100 times over how horrible these people are while inflicting different things that would ultimately inspire the worst within them. Venomous nonsense that was done on high by corruption. Trickled down, and then we blame the people who had it trickled on. No. No, that's an agenda. I will not subscribe to nor allow the people who follow me not to have some resistance toward. You're not going to just think that what you're hearing from these people who are paid by these evil people to continue to further deter us from looking at the root of the problems without some resistance to that energy. No. I'm sorry. No. These gang members and these individuals out here in these streets shooting these guns are the leaves, the corruption above them. And the people who create these narratives and pay these individuals who are telling you to look at the leaves are the problem. We know the roads lead back to at this point. We can see what it is. Everything they've ever done is being exposed to us at this point. All you got to do is trace. You see it leads back to them. And so that's what I got to say. You need to start educating people of what the root of problems are. And don't just let people who are bad guys telling everybody who the bad guys are continue to be the ones doing all the talking. No more. No more. If you're not smart enough to see that these people are just the leaves and not the root of the problem, then you're not responsible enough to be telling us what the problem is. That's why I got to say to people like Podik Faklo and all these other individuals who want to vilify the leaves as if they're the root. They ain't the root. You better do your homework. You better look at all the angles, brother. They paying you to be hateful toward your own people while they secretly going behind your back, using you as a weapon to destroy your own people. Because they hate your people, and they hate your ass too. And you better know that. You better look into what the CIA been up to. You better look into what Israel's been up to. You better look into what some of these countries that are aligned with these people have been up to for the last 100 years. And a lot of what it is that you think is the worst thing in the world is the energy you're actually supposed to have for them. And they made sure, damn sure, that you ain't pointed at them. They made sure of that. And they're hoping you will influence us to feel the same way you do. Not holding them accountable at all for any of the evil that they do. Nope. Nah, they ruined that for themselves when they decided to commit a genocide while all of us were watching. They gave us the blueprint for everything they've ever done. And we put 2 and 2 together, 3 and 3 together, and know better at this point. So, the hell with that narrative. And the hell with the people who are giving it to us from here on out. That's how I feel. That's exactly how I feel about that. You want to know who to blame for gang violence? Anybody that ever invested in a liquor store or infused any type of drug violence, any undercover cops pretending to be gangsters out there starting beefs in the street, snitches that were ultimately compromised by these same individuals used as weapons to further divide in the streets. It wasn't just the evil of the people outside. Those were the leaves. Those were the victims of a greater agenda meant to destroy people of color and push them further into poverty and further away from being a part of success in this country. It's a furtherance of rigging the game against the righteous. That's exactly what that is. And me identifying that apparently according to their agenda is me not being held accountable for our actions, which is not actually the case. I can very easily say we haven't reacted well to the inflictions of these agendas upon our heads. And a lot of us have had evil in our hearts based on God knows what, including pain, which was caused by poverty and furtherance of separation in our families and in our communities. A separation that maybe we could have did something about if we would have just been a bit stronger against that for which was inflicted upon us. If we are guilty of anything is weakness in the presence of repeated provocation toward us being our worst. Sometimes you just gotta feel pain and not want to inflict pain, and that's a very difficult thing for a human being. And they know that, and they've been pressing those buttons for 100 years, maybe longer than that. You want to know the real truth? This is the dream they had for you. That's the truth. And so as long as you're allowing them to tell the story, they're always going to tell you you're not being held accountable, that you're the worst thing in the world, that the streets are cleaner without you, that they need to remove you from the streets, that anybody on your side is wrong. Anybody from your side needs to be on their side to be healthy and safe and all these evil things, while they're putting all different types of things out there for you to be destroyed by. Chemicals in your food, poison in your cultures, in your music, furtherance of divide with the media, painting a picture of you every opportunity they get to be the worst people in the world, the enemy of the state, enemy of the world, the worst people in the world. If you're of color or from poverty, you're the worst person in the world. You need not think of anything other than money. And then in the pursuing of money, you ultimately find yourself running into walls. They take the education out of your situation to keep you furtherance from that, which by inherently breeds ignorance, inherently breeds bad cultures, inherently coupled with alcohol, drugs, violence, further brings forth the environment that cultivates that for which we consider the leaves. And then we blame the leaves for their environment instead of those who literally own the environment, who are sitting on their high horses with their little hats, plotting on ways to destroy people and do the diddle children. I am not playing with these people with my voice. I'm not playing with them because I know they've dreamt up a lot of what it is that my people have suffered from. Not only in this country, but everywhere you find us. Anywhere you find people of color, they've been dreaming up ways of keeping us in a space where suddenly we're the worst people in the world, while actually being a reflection of their dreams for us, from which they control literally everything. And then when you turn your attention to them being the root, suddenly, as I've already mentioned, you end up being the problem. Oh, you're not holding it accountable. Just lace up your bootstraps. And if I'm serious about being held accountable, and the first thing I'm going to do is find out why I'm in a space from which I'm making the mistakes I'm making. Why? Is it out of the natural evil in my heart that I keep destroying everything like you tell me? Or did I get some help? Was there help? Well, the more homework we do, the more we realize it wasn't just help. We were forced into these spaces. And that the world around us thinks the worst of us because they've been telling the story about who we are while doing so. I'm sorry, everybody, but the reality is we were told lies and we believed those lies, and then we went forward after being told who we were, being who it is they told us we were. That's what the truth is. And if you say something enough times to enough people and enough people actually believe it because of it, then you can start willing lies into being truths that are believed by people who ain't smart enough to do their homework. And since they've been doing this for so long, it's very easy to look at a person that looks like me and say, oh, that's a gang member. Oh, that's a person who has a, oh, this is a person who does that. The reality is, if they hadn't been telling you this for the last 100 years, and they hadn't been doing to me what ultimately coerced me into being that person, I wouldn't be that person nor think I am that person. And you would see who I actually am, if not for the help of them destroying. And if I want to fix the problem, it's not just about applying blame, it's about getting to the root of it, find out what's actually there. And in the pursuit of doing that, what you're going to find out is it's not you to blame. It's the ones who are telling you have no right to blame them. And so that's the truth. And you do with that what you will. Do your own homework. I always tell people, do your own homework, man. Don't listen to me. And definitely don't listen to them. Do your own homework. Get your information from and come to your own conclusions. But as long as you continue to listen to the propaganda machine tell you who everyone is, and they'll tell you I effectively don't exist, sitting here telling you the truth. That this type of black don't exist. This type of black is not to be found. If we're educated, then we're likely on their side, trying to figure out a way to get them in power, or one side or the other, or some type of, supremacist rhetoric. That's what it really comes down to. It's just low-level racism and low-level Satanism that really drives a lot of what it is we see. It's masked in religion, it's masked in capitalism, but its core, what its true core and purpose is to serve Satan. That's literally what all of this boils down to, man. And I've learned this after doing a lot of homework, a lot of studying of behaviors and energies as it pertains to these people, and they, a lot of them truly believe they're serving some type of God, but the reality is the God they serve is actually the enemy of God. And that is what I'll keep on telling you guys until people truly understand that when they look at them. These people hate God, man. And they hate themselves as a byproduct of that devotion. Because anything that's attached to the devil is going to have a self-destructive button. We keep telling you that until you get that too. It's inherently going to be mistaken and arrogant in its mistakenness. These are traits that come with it. It's going to love lies. It's going to continue to think lies are a strategy for making things happen and then furthering the agenda it has to make others tell lies on their behalf. It's just a mistakenness, and it stems from a devotion to the enemy who lives in mistakenness. They are a reflection of who they serve, deceivers. It's just what it is. And so naturally, anything that's righteous is ultimately its enemy. And if they have a chance to paint the picture, they're going to say that it's evil. If they have a way to control the narrative, they're going to try to force people into believing it's evil in whatever way it can. Psychological warfare is what it wages on the righteous. It just is what it is, man. You know, this is what I awakened to understand after 41 years of life and watching this crap. It's never their fault. It's always yours. They're always going to gaslight you. They're always going to use some type of psychological warfare upon your head, whether you're on my side or your side, whatever side you're on. They're going to tell you who everybody is around you, and then furthermore tell you you can only trust them. And you're going to, if what they do works, you're going to believe them, trust them, and they're going to lead you toward hating others, hating everybody except for you, or hating you depending on what side of the fence you stand on and what they want you to think of yourself. You're going to worship wealth. You're going to worship the nonsense that they ultimately are selling you, and you're going to stay farther and farther away from a living God unless you're wrapped up in their version of that, for which would then have you weaponized against the righteous in the name of God, choosing one of their ways of religion as they pervert religion, which is really at its surface Satanism. This is what it is. Warped versions of Christianity, warped versions of Judaism. This is what they do. It's all Satanism. Those who understand it, truly understand it, they know exactly who they're worshiping. That person is not God. Not the God of Abraham. Not the God of righteousness. Not the God of forgiveness. No. It's the enemy of that. That's who they call their God. That's who they want you to align with. But just like the enemy of God, as I've already mentioned, he's a deceiver. So naturally, he's not going to say, hey, I'm enemy of God. I'm going to lie and say I am God. Because that's what a deceiver does. He lies, pretends he's something he's not, try to coerce people in the spaces he wants them in. So of course they're pretending like they're Christians. Of course they're pretending like they're Jews. Of course. That's the definition of deception. That's what a deceiver does. Pretends. He lies. He gives forth false testimony. That's what it is. So nobody should be surprised that it's not standing out here with horns on his head and a pitchfork wearing a bunch of red. No. The essence of that would be honesty. It's not of honesty. It's of deception. So of course it's going to say it's of God. It's going to hold a Bible or a Quran, or it's going to hold a Talmud or whatever the book is for the Jews, and it's going to say that it's there to do God's work. But it's never honest. It's a deceiver. That's who's behind the deterioration of people of color all over the world, including this very one. You want to know why we're looked at the worst way? Because they've been telling a story about us. You want to know why we're living the worst ways? Because they've been doing horrible things to us. That trickles down to us. And just like a deceiver, when you get to the root of what it is and you start blaming it, it'll find a way to gaslight you and furthermore deceive, lie. Say, no, it's not us. We didn't do nothing. We're not. We're the victims. Further deception. Always playing the victim as it continues to enact terror. The essence of that is deception. It is a lie. That is the essence of who they serve in plain sight. And it has a self-destructive button, which is why they look so ridiculous as they are seen lying at this point. People wonder, why are they so far detached from being able to reach us? Why do they look so phony as they continue to apply their propaganda? Why are they not believable? That's what's built in the failure that comes with serving the deceiver. They are too deceived and don't realize that they are in plain sight, headed toward a wall that they're ultimately running into. That is the spiritual conundrum of serving the enemy of God, who happens to be inherently a deceiver and a loser. They're going to fail because that's how it works. You drop something on the ground, gravity's going to pull it down. It's not going to go flying up unless you're out of space where gravity's not found. This is the essence of spiritual gravity. When you serve the enemy, you're going to be out of touch with the righteous, but you're going to be the last one to know it, because that's the art of the deception that you serve. That is the essence of the deception that you serve. You're the last to know. But the funny thing is just like the deceiver, they're arrogant in their mistakenness. So as they move forward, they're the last ones to know. They don't know the context from which to connect to the people that they think they're controlling. You don't know the first thing about spirituality, yet you think you're the masters of it. You know the first thing about true science, but yet you think you're the masters of it. And that is the essence of the deception in play, working against those who agree to serve the deceiver. It all makes sense when you look at it through a spiritual lens, people. That's why I've been telling you, like, I don't need to know the details of what these people are doing, because I know the essence of how they move. It tells me everything I need to know. It'll tell you everything you need to know too if you understand the rules. I'm not surprised to see these people engaging in a genocide. I'm not surprised to see them try to justify it. I'm not surprised seeing them fail to do so, obviously, and under the surface as well. Obvious to say that you ain't gonna convince people that killing a bunch of kids makes any damn sense any damn way. But if you were to use propaganda that was supposed to confuse people to move away from their morality, you wouldn't do the things they're doing. You would do it in a bit more effective way. They're not capable of that because they inherently believe lies. So those lies bring them further away from those who are righteous, thus not making them believable when the righteous are who they're speaking to. This is what I'm saying to you. So do your own homework, people, and remember, as I've said this a million times, I'm saying in this video too, Muslims and Christians serve the same God. That is the God of Abraham. They call him something different because they're from different lands. And there's a deceiver, an enemy in between both of them trying to separate them, just like you see in the streets with the gangs. People that are controlled by the enemy, meant to separate people who are already on edge based on the pain. This is not rocket science. This is layered, the same play being run over and over again, just like you see the devil and all his imps running the same plays over and over again. On every level, they try to do something that worked last. Why? Because the deceiver is a liar, therefore not a creative. One thing about creativity is riddled in truth and an understanding of self and understanding of what it is that you want to do. If you believe lies, you're following something. You're following an imprint of something that isn't true. In the presence of trying to follow the imprint of something that isn't true, you're not going to come up with something new. You're going to likely use something that isn't new. Being an enemy of God will make it so that you curse yourself in regards to being able to come up with new plays, because inherently what you do has a self-destructive button, and this is one way that's facilitated. You can't come up with nothing new. You're going to be very predictable. It's part of the failure that you are committed to. And you're the last one to know because you're following the deceiver. You see how this works? That's why I tell people, man, absolutely do not yield to the power of man, because the power of man is aligned with the enemy, and the enemy is aligned with imminent failure. This is the fact. So if you follow, for example, Israel today, in modern times, today Israel's they're the man. Zion is Israel. They're the man right now. They control everything. They're doing Satan's work in modern times. This is who the devil is today in human form. Got it. Following them just because they have all the power and they control all this and all the surveillance is spiritually, what's the word? I don't want to be disrespectful to words, because you could say so, but it's not intelligent. You know what I mean? It's a deficiency in spiritual understanding, because those who are spiritually intelligent are going to see these angles and understand that Israel's headed toward imminent failure inherently because of who they serve. Literally, they're going to fail. Zionists are going to fail. It just comes with the devil they serve, man. It comes with the deception that they engage in. It comes with it. So if you're attaching yourself to who you think the winner is, and you see them winning right now, you're lacking the spiritual understanding of what it is that's actually there to see. For which I hope throughout the course of me doing this, you will have then been given an imprint, an understanding of how to effectively see. That's my job. Is to help you understand that the winning team is destined to fail. They're going to lose the game. They're up right now. They're not going to win the game. They can't win the game. That's the problem. They cannot win. They can just prolong the inevitable, which is the imminent failure that they engage in at some point coming their way. And so that's really what it is, man. The rules are the rules, man. I don't make them. That's the reality of it. I do not make the rules. This is God's existence. You're living in God's reality. And those who try to oppose him or fight him, try to, defy him unapologetically, all these different things, it is absolute failure. It's futile. It is futile, man. That's really what it comes down to. You can be mad at that. You can shake your fist, do whatever you want. It does not matter, bro. Your failure to defeat him is imminent. It is absolutely and utterly futile to face him and think that you're going to have any success when the guy literally controls the canvas of all things. The canvas of all things. He creates all. He will erase all at his own time whenever you feel like it. You know what I mean? That you have a thought in your head is his mercy. And so if you're going to shake your fist at him, be angry at him, try to control everything and do all this and that, at the end of the day, you're bound to fail. You can lie to everybody. You can raise hell. You can do whatever you want. When he says it's over, wiped away, it's over. You can convince everybody he doesn't exist. You can convince everybody you don't exist. You can convince everybody they don't exist. It does not actually hold the consequences that you hope it does. Because at the end of the day, all of this is controlled by love. All of it. All of it. So that's what I want to say to people, man. Like, I don't fear that for which doesn't create. That you can't create any of these mountains. You can try to destroy them. If he allows you to destroy them, he can reimagine them and bring them back twice as strong if he chooses. You don't have to believe in him. His existence is not dependent on your belief. Whatever's rolling around in your skull, whatever you have going on in your gut, none of that holds any consequence to the Creator, man. None of it. You're only here because he wants you here. You're only doing stuff because he allowed it. All of it. The good, bad, and the ugly, man. And he told us what he appeals to. He appeals to compassion. He appeals to repentance. He appeals to forgiveness. He appeals to brotherhood. This is what he said. I don't make the rules. He wants you to be a good person. He wants you to be kind. He wants you not to be a jerk. These are his rules. This is what he wants. He wants you to have some discipline. He wants you to break bread. He wants you to not be selfish and not be greedy. And all the different things that we understand hurt one another, he don't want us to deal with. He don't want us to have anything to do with. You don't have to like it. But following it is for your own betterment in the world he created, in the gravity that you're bound by. It just is what it is. Be mad at him if you want to, but do understand that you are bound by his orders. It just is what it is. And you trying to be God does not make you God. You controlling everything does not make you God. That's the funny thing about it. People think because they control the earth, we got the borders, we got this, we got that, we got this. We control that. We have leverage on everybody. We have our flag. We've conquered the world. You ain't conquer anything. You're actually surrounded. We got surveillance on all the people. They move as we want them to move. Our structures have worked for thousands of years. All of it wiped away whenever he says. He's amused by y'all. Saddened by you. Because you're trying to destroy everything. He don't want everything destroyed. If you want everything destroyed, he just wipe it away. He don't need you for that. I assure you he doesn't need you for that. But the deceiver is who you follow. He's a liar. He's telling you can win the war. He's telling you can do this. You can overcome God. You can beat God. He's putting all this crap in your head. You can enjoy the fruits of what it is I provide. All the things they tell you not to have. All the taboo you want to have. You can have it. He's a liar. He's a deceiver. He secretly wants to see you fail for even following him. That's his purpose, is to turn you away from God and then further torture you for the sake of his own interest. For the sake of his own pain, he wants to destroy you. That's what the deceiver does. So whatever he promised you, he lied about. The only one who actually keeps promises is love. The devil don't keep no promises. So whatever he told you, whatever he waved in your face, whatever shiny object he tempted you with, whatever he let you have a taste of that he told you he'd give you forever, all that lies, bro. None of that is going to come to pass. None of it. And when it don't, he going to be the first one laughing. He can't wait to see you fail. He can't wait to see your heart broken off of the deception and the heart and ultimately the letdown that he's going to provide you. That's the part you need to understand. He's going to be laughing and dancing in your face while you're sitting there saying, how could you? How could you? That's what he wants. That's the dream that he has for you. He don't just want to have you burn in hell with him. He wants you to feel betrayed when burning. That's the hate he has for you. That's the hate he has for himself. He wants everybody to hate him as much as he hates everybody else so that he can be tortured. That's what it's about. So if you're following him, that's your fate. If you want what he wants, then you're suffering for all time. That's literally it. That's what he lived for. That's the only control he has in a world led by God, is that if he can grab whoever he can grab and make them suffer, he at least have some control over something. That's the one thing he can control. If he can coerce you into a space where you're just as bad as him and doing bad to others, now he has some control. He's just trying to do something away from God, and that's the only thing he found he can do. It's the truth. So when you follow those who follow him and you understand why it doesn't make any sense for anyone to follow him. Because whatever it is you think you're going to enjoy, it's not there. That's not what's there. What's there is his resentment, his intention to assure that you suffer for the sake of that resentment. If you follow him, that's the only fate you got. That's it. So that's why I want to tell people, man, whatever you were told, whatever lies you were told, if it has you being a bad person, it's ultimately to serve the deceiver who looks to relish in your own pain and suffering and turmoil. I tell you the truth. Don't follow him, man. Don't follow him nowhere. I don't care how much he look like he winning. He don't want to win. He does not want to win. He wants to lose. He's the main character in his story, and self-loathing is what drives him. So if you're following him, the object of the game is to turn on anybody that would dare love him. Dare love him. He hates you for loving him because he has no desire to be loved. He has desire to suffer and cause suffering. That is it. So that's pretty much what I want to say to you guys, man. I hope people are listening and taking what I'm saying with good energy. I'm not some above, you're better than thou type of guy in any way. I'm a human being who's susceptible to evil and temptation and has choices to make going forward to assure I'm in the right place. The Lord gave me a gift. He gave me a lens. He gave me a ability to communicate and articulate the way that I do. He gave me perspective and aligned me in a space that I'm in, the reality I'm in, the times I'm in. And I'm just trying to utilize my experiences and my understanding for the betterment of human beings and spirits all time. That's really it, man. I'm trying to help from within my little limited range of motion. That's it. I don't believe myself to be greater or nothing. I'm mortal. All of that is real for me. I'm trying to align with God, the living God of love, the God of Abraham, the giver of life and the creator of all, and the giver of the ability to create. You know what I'm saying? That's who I'm trying to appeal to, man. I'm trying to follow his rules to the best of my ability, and I've struggled a lot, just like I'd imagine you have. The deceiver will always want you to think that the only messenger you need to be listening to are him and those who've never made a mistake before. Therefore, you will only listen to him because everybody else has made mistakes. That's the reality of it. The truth is, the Lord can use people who have made mistakes to do great things. He can use people who have not gotten it right to share their testimony in not getting it right to those who otherwise need that testimony in order to avoid the walls that person is running into. So don't necessarily think that the only people you need to listen to are people who have it all together. It's the people who don't have it all together that can kind of tell you what it looks like when you make the mistakes that lead to you not having it all together. And so, that's what I want to say, man. Stop allowing people to tell you who people are around you, man. That's what I want to say. Let the energy tell the story. Try to look at them through a spiritual lens. And just know that love controls this thing, man. Why he allows the enemy to do all the things that he does, I don't know. I'd imagine it has something to do with teaching us lessons and making us stronger. And ultimately turning us away from becoming self-loathing entities of resentment. And the more interactions we have with a combination of good and evil, and win those battles against evil, the stronger and the better we become for being that. I'm sure it's somewhere in that ballpark. So that's pretty much what I gotta say, man. My name is Bdf 44. I thank y'all for watching. I'm out.